What's up, sippers, and welcome back to another cup of conversation.
Where we have conversations worth having.
I am your host, T.
And I'm your girl, Coco.
And welcome back to another amazing episode.
Yes. Episode...
what is it, 106?
6, 7. I'm just playing.
Please,
I'm like my kids.
No, please. We back on the pink couch with another special episode, and y'all have not seen us with a guest
in a long time.
In a while. We've been giving y'all some solos, really back and forth. But we have a special guest in the building today, psychologist, sexologist, public speaker, founder of, therapist, founder of Dr. Nikki Knows. Give it up for Dr. Nikki. Hey, thank you for coming to join us.
Of course.
Thank you.
To be here.
I'm excited too. I don't know if T told you, because you basically been in, or your team has been in communication with T.
Yeah.
And I haven't really had much interaction. They know, but
I already told you, I said that ain't my side.
Yeah. But I'm excited about this because I went to school for counseling and for therapy, and so that's just one. I always wanted to do like LPC, the licensed therapist, but I haven't done that amongst the other things I probably haven't done. But I really like focus on this kind of stuff a lot. Actually, our next time we meet, we're gonna be talking about some kind of therapy stuff, but not on the lines of
and
what your specialty is.
It was kind of
because I've been going to therapy, and I feel like I've been what I told my one of my friends that hooked me up with the current therapist that I'm with. I said that what he's making me realize, it's a lot of shitty therapists out in the world, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I feel like that I've been an advocate for therapy for a long time, and I've always been to therapy, but the therapist that I'm with now, I've never got the breakthrough that I have gotten now, and the things that he's saying, I've never heard before. And I feel like for me to have a counseling kind of background in school wise anyways, and to never have heard some of the things that I've heard in school, but never heard it through with all these therapists, I'm like, why is that?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about today.
Yeah, I think that's really important because, one, there are a lot of bad therapists out there, to be clear. But I always say every good therapist isn't a good therapist for you. So it has to be aligned with where you are, what your needs are, what the therapist is able to bring. Right. I'm a psychologist, so I've been doing therapy for over 20 years at this point. I've had different therapists myself, and so I'm speaking from experiences on both sides of things. In my practice, I always do a 15-minute consultation before I start working with any client, because it has to be a good fit. And I always tell them, I want to hear what it is you're looking for, and then I want you to have the opportunity to ask me the questions you need to know. Because I've also been there where you start working with someone and you think it's going to go well, and then you're like, and now I got to go find somebody else to start over.
Yes.
Like telling my life story.
Right.
So,
now I have to repeat that story again.
Right.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so you did mention that you're a psychologist. We know you're a sexologist. We're going to get into all the things today.
Yeah.
But our last 2 episodes, we had pretty, like a therapy talk conversation. We always say this is like our couch therapy. So we sit here and talk about these things. And one of the things was love and how intentional love is, or is it more shaped off of survival and needs and necessities in the regular world? So I wanted to start there because we kind of talked about it in the episode about love just not being enough. For me personally, in a fantasy land, I would like love and character to have been enough. You know, are you the type of person that get up and go on your own? Are you the type of person who holds the door or smile and say thank you, or have, on your own without having to do it performatively for other people? So my first question is, are we choosing partners off of love or survival? Do you think that since we have to add in all the other circumstances, that we more so pick what would make us comfortable in living in everyday reality? Or do we pick people that, or are we known to pick people? I know you can't speak for everybody, to pick people that, make us feel good.
So I think that's a layered question. So, and I would separate it out in 3 different ways.
Okay.
I think that people choose relationships, period, full stop, for a wide variety of reasons. I think people experience love, and I think people have intimacy in relationships. So I hear you sort of like intertwining the three pieces. So for me, one of the things that actually comes up a lot in my practice, I experience a lot of Black women that have experienced care as a form of love, but not experienced love.
Right.
Ooh,
and then romantic love is a very specific expression thereof. And a lot of people have very, I would say, limited, but also very like stereotypical expectations of love that come from media, that come from stories we've been told about what love should look like. And romantic love is very much not what we see in songs, videos, TV films, right? So I think there can be oftentimes a mismatch between all of those expectations, what you've experienced, and then what actually happens in the relationship.
Right.
And I like to talk about sustainability of a relationship, whether versus healthy or unhealthy. I like to talk about level of intimacy in the relationship, compassion, care, all of those pieces. To me, I could talk more, but the love piece encompasses all of that. Okay. Now, the other piece that you said that I think is really, really important, you were talking about the trauma, right? Or unmet needs, right?
Right.
That's what I hear when you say like survival,
yeah.
So when I do couples therapy, the framework that I'm trained in is called Imago relationships.
Okay.
Look it up. Lots of good stuff on YouTube. And the essential underlying idea with Imago relationships is for our important relationship. We're talking about like marriage, partnership,
okay.
Locked in together, right? What we're actually doing is seeking unconsciously, but we're seeking out the wounded parts of ourselves and our other partner.
Well, it looks like you a good therapist too, because that's what my therapist told me about myself. I was so happy. He told me, I don't mean to cut you off, but he told me this. He told me that as much as you would hate to admit it, the things that you hate about your husband or you don't like about your husband are the things that are you like unconsciously don't know that those are insecurities that you hold.
100%.
Okay.
I tell my couples all the time, you are each other's medicine. But you have to be in a space to, one, have enough self-awareness, self-regulation, emotional regulation to be able to see that and to recognize that there is benefit in the process of healing your wounds. And it goes vice versa. So whatever you're reflecting for your husband, he's also reflecting for you, right? It's not one-sided.
And he named it rejection and acceptance. So he told me that it's nothing more that I require from my husband is to be accepted by him, and it's the same for him. And what we giving right now, well, I'm putting y'all in my business, but like with the stuff that we have going on right now, it's like I'm rejecting, he rejecting. And then he also put the attachment styles, and he showed me how they are so important, and how right now with the negative that I give, I'm feeding into, I'm basically building up the attachment style the negative attachment style that he currently has, and vice versa. Right. So yes, I agree.
Yeah. It's like y'all fighting with the opposite ends of the magnet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Pushing each other away. I can agree to that too, because I feel like the same in my relationship. Like we're both trying to be heard. We're both trying to push back and forth, and we're not catering, like you said, to those soft spots that he needs, and he's not catering to the soft spots that I need. But I kind of want to park at one of the things you said about romantic love versus care love.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like we all are searching for some kind of care outside of our family. So when that's how and especially in the Black community, I feel like that's how we pick our partners. Yes. Off of how much somebody cares for me, what they'll do for me, but they're not showing up in the romantic sides of things, where you have to kind of like teach them how you like to be. I don't like to be touched so much, or I do like to be touched so much. I don't like to be held that way, or I do like to be held that way. Like different things. I feel like we don't remember to show up in the romantic side of things. So what would you say to somebody who only knows care, love, and they're trying to kind of re-navigate to learn romantic love?
Yeah, I think it could be really threatening. I think that's where the importance of the intimacy comes in. But the intimacy requires vulnerability.
Right.
And that's the area that we struggle in, right?
Yes.
So when I talk about care, what I mean is like the vast majority of us come from homes where we've had our needs met, our material needs met, right? We've had a roof over our heads. We've had clothes. We've been able to go to school. We've been supported in our well-being.
Right.
But who you are as a person, the soul of you, the core of you, your personalities, your failures, your weaknesses. Most of us have not had a space in our primary families where that has been acknowledged, talked about, allowed to just be without ridicule, without dismissal, right? So that's the stuff that I think we're oftentimes seeking in our romantic relationships.
Right.
But because we haven't had it, sometimes when we get it, that's where the threat comes in, right? It feels new, it feels different, it feels uncomfortable to our nervous system, right? And so that is the piece that is most important. It's the compassion. It is the ability to show up as your vulnerable self without judgment, without ridicule. That's not the same thing as you and your partner agreeing on everything. That's not the same thing as you and your partner even understanding each other. I always tell my clients, I'm far less concerned about understanding than I am about empathy. And about the fact that your experience is your experience. It's going to be some stuff. It seems like y'all are really good friends. Stuff that you each do that you're like, I don't know why, but that's her thing, right? That's just who she is.
Right.
We have to have that in our romantic relationships as well, without there being the consequence of being distant or pushed away, right? The intimacy is we can have that connection. We can have that sweetness. We can have that joy. We can have the pleasure. We can have the eroticism. All of that rolled into one without there being limitations or parts of ourselves that we have to put aside. And that if you see your partner struggling with one of those things, that you are able to help create a safe space for them to show up in that softness with their weaknesses, with their right. And this isn't like to talk about harmful behavior, right? This is that's different.
Right.
Not talking about harmful behavior,
about
exploitation, none of that stuff.
Asking about the grace part.
Yes.
I was gonna ask about the empathy. You talked about having the empathy more than understanding, and I feel like I personally struggle with that because once we identify what's going on, can we move past? Okay, I understand you. I have the empathy. Okay, now how we moving past this? That's what my immediate and I think sometimes, I know sometimes that it comes across as you're really not acknowledging. You're doing it out of the obligation, wanting to get past it, but you're not actually acknowledging it and having that empathy for real. And so, but what is the difference between I have empathy for a situation, but I don't have enough. The grace has run out for this situation, this problem,
especially with us as Black women. I feel like a lot of us date with potential in mind, so we give you that grace. Oh, we know you're not where you need to be right now, but we see it in you. You know, like I see you a hustler, or I see you a go getter, this that, but you're not reaching your full potential that I see in you yet. But I'm giving you grace. Year 1, year 2,
right?
Year 3. All right, now. When is the grace?
Yeah, that's not what I mean at all.
Okay. All right.
No. And direct the camera. Stop dating potential.
Oh. Damn.
Stop dating potential.
Right.
When you choose to be in a relationship with someone, you have to choose to be in a relationship with the version of who they are the day you agree to be in that relationship. If there is growth afterwards, boom, wonderful. But if you go in expecting, and so many women go wrong there, like so many women. I've worked with clients who are going through divorce, post-divorce. And when I ask them like, what, like, let's walk back. They knew before, but they didn't pay attention to that. Right. So that's not what I mean in terms of grace. I'll come back to your question. I would encourage you to rethink about how you're considering empathy, right? So if you think about it like, if you take it outside of the romantic context, right? If you have pets, if you have children, you don't give up on your pet or child because they have an accident or they mess up, right? You are like, it might get on your nerves. You might fuss. you're like, all right, this is something we're working through,
Right.
right?
Right.
So with your partner, again, not harmful behaviors, right? That doesn't mean you don't get frustrated, annoyed, worn down. But the difference is when they are being accountable for how their behavior impacts you and the relationship, that's where I believe the grace has to come in.
Right.
But a lot of folks are excusing behaviors. That's not grace. That's excusing behavior. And the other person is never accountable. They don't ever say, I'm sorry. They don't ever actually do anything different. That's what accountability means. It says, I keep
change
doing that
behavior.
thing. Right. I see its impact. I'm going to try it different this time. Right. I understand that what I did caused a problem.
Right.
And I own that. That's not defensiveness. That's not gaslighting. That's not minimization. That's not victim. It's none of those things. I don't often always see that happening in heterosexual relationships, right? And I would say, going back to that conversation of like, you seek out the wound, right? You also have to be willing to say, if I keep letting this person treat me this way, what does that say about me?
Right.
What does that really say about how much I value myself?
Right. How I feel about me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I started laughing when you said that because I have a thought in my head when you said that. You like, okay, you take accountability and you acknowledge that the thing is wrong. Okay, this person probably not gonna get it right even the next time.
Yeah.
Right. But it's always my thought, and I gotta work on this. I know probably because I'm like, I don't care about all that apology stuff because you done already did what you wanted to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't take back. You already had your fun, did what you wanted to do. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like.
But that's the accountability piece.
Right.
Not saying I'm sorry. I could really care less about the sorry.
Right.
I mean, the words are nice, but that doesn't do anything because the damage is done. Right? The accountability is, let me look at what I did to contribute to the damage, and I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to own it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I guess the question for me is, what is real damage though?
Right. But, your feelings are being hurt. Right? If you have an expectation that has been articulated, that's that part is important. Right?
Yeah. I'm gonna articulate. Right? I'm gonna say something.
You said this, don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to use real simple examples, right? You have a 5-year-old and you say, don't take that juice in the living room. The first time they take the juice in the living room, you correct them. Hey, we're not supposed to have it in there, right?
Remember what
they take the juice in there, the juice spill. You gonna be pissed. I told you. Like, right? Okay. It was an accident, mama. Okay. All right. The third time, they're walking in there with the juice. Hey, where you go? Oh, I'm sorry, mama. I made a mistake before. I finished my juice over here. That's the accountability.
Yeah.
But if they keep going, they looking you in your face and they pouring the juice on the couch, that's not accountability.
Yeah.
So you could say, I'm sorry, right? We see that happening in relationships, but you just excuse it differently because to confront it is going to require some vulnerability, right? You have to be accountable for your part too.
Yeah.
Did I really communicate?
Right.
Was I clear? And then maybe I had to make the decision that this isn't the relationship for me. And I don't want to go through the mourning. I don't want to go through the rejection. I don't want to right? But so there's always work being done on both parts.
Right.
But like you said you're the one who's going to say something. I'm the one who thought I said it because I thought it up here. I thought it so long. And I even was about to go say it, or I might have said something towards it, but I didn't really say everything that, like, I didn't make it clear.
No, I be using my therapy voice. I be like, okay, so this is how I feel about this situation. I go all in.
Are you sure he's receiving it?
So that's what I'm realizing in therapy. Like, I was crying, y'all. My lashes came off, everything, because this man was tearing me down. He was like, you are validating how you feel. Like, he's telling me you are validating how you feel, but you're dealing with somebody that can't even process what you're trying to get him to do. And he said a lot of therapists, and this is why I said, this is what made me come to the realization that a lot of therapists are shitty, because he was like, a lot of therapists stop at the do. They don't go to the be. You can't do yourself into being a person that you're not. You get what I'm saying? You can tell, they can tell you, oh, okay, now when y'all leave this session, you need to go do this, you need to go do that, you can have a list of things you need to do. But if you're not that person, it'll stop whenever you get tired of doing. You know what I'm saying?
As soon as it's not a thought in your mind, or as soon as it's not
because that's not
priority.
who you are. You get what I'm saying? So I understand that part of it. And some of it is, I feel like knowing if your partner is, knowing if you're asking or the things that you're requiring is something realistically appropriate or even necessary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because you could want something and be valid in what you want, but is that even necessary?
Right. Is it detrimental? Is it life or death? Is it really bothering the relationship? Is it hindering?
Yeah. But what is the then could you tell us what is the thin line between yes, something bothers you, or if it's even necessary to be a bother?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, so I'll actually, and I want to talk about two things.
Okay.
So specifically to your question, what I go to in relationships is what are your psychological needs? Like needs that have to be met. I have to feel safe, right? I have to feel like this is a space where I am wanted. I have to feel desired. I have to feel like I am respected. I have to feel that my worth and contribution matters. Those are needs. You're not in relationship if those needs are not being met.
Right.
Now, the distinction is some of us have learned maladaptive ways to get those needs met. So in your relationship, what you may be asking for is not a realistic or valid or healthy way to get that need met, but that doesn't invalidate the need. So we all want to feel safe, close, connected, valued, appreciated, seen, loved, cared for.
Right.
How we do that matters. So if you're yelling at me, you need to pay more attention to me. The need is I feel abandoned. I feel like unsafe.
Right.
But you yelling at somebody to do it probably is not the best way, right?
Okay.
So it's about having that self-awareness that maybe how you're communicating or trying to seek getting that need met is a reflection of that wound, of that trauma, of your unresolved stuff, right? That's your accountability piece. The other really, really important piece that I think so many of us just don't know because we just, it's like information we don't have access to. When we're having communication, especially in our romantic relationships, especially when we're operating from a place of vulnerability or like when we are having our core stuff triggered, a good deal of the time, we're not even operating in the part of our brain that can actually hear, think through, strategize, respond. We are reacting from the part of our brain that is the threat center.
Yeah.
So that part of our brain is unconscious. It doesn't have language. It's emotion driven. It's also extremely, it moves faster than our words. So when I ask, is your partner really hearing what you're saying? If the way that you're doing it or whatever is showing up for him is triggering his stuff, he could be looking at you and he could be tracking the words, but it's not comprehending. I do this in couples therapy all the time where one couple will say something and I'll ask the other person, what did you hear them say? Baby, it's like the old game of telephone. It's like gobbledygook. And that's not quite what she said. Can we try again? Right?
Yeah.
So most of the time in our real life, we're not slowing down enough to do that.
Right.
And so if you are experiencing the same issue over and over again, if it feels like Groundhog's Day on the same conversation, then that's probably an indicator that the way that you are talking about it is not in a space where you're actually able to hear each other.
Right.
No matter how articulate you are, you like, I'm breaking it down, I'm whatever. If this part of the brain is online and this part, it don't matter.
So is that the difference between somebody that might be dismissive, avoidant, or preoccupied, attachment to be insecure? Because once you hear it, even if it's your trigger, you can switch to let's rationalize.
Correct. And you say, okay, all right, I'm responding to old stuff. I'm responding to old hurts. I'm responding to how things happened last time. Let me stop doing that and let me actually pay attention to this person in front of me and hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
So can you agree or disagree that if I can switch to this part, the front part of my brain, and I'm listening and trying to come up with a resolution to the conflict, but the resolution that we're coming up with, it still hurts me. The part where you say the actual need, the need is still not being met. Is that a part for me to say, okay, you may have some unresolved trauma that you need to get rid of before you can even understand this. Also, you're using this part, but you're still not coming to a resolve because you still have that unmet trauma that's going on that you haven't recognized for real.
I think it's about both people being able to do that.
Right.
So okay. I think I would say there isn't resolution until both people can
do that. Okay.
Right? And so maybe a different way to think about it. Maybe it's not full resolution. Maybe it's about, well, let's work on this first part together.
Yeah, just hearing first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did that
as you were
that
saying
makes sense?
Okay.
Because okay,
I was just gonna say, as you were saying that, I was thinking like, what if it doesn't need a resolution per se? What if it just needs to be heard? Or
so
just, you know?
I think that's a really, really great point. T is that most of our core stuff, like we're never getting rid of it. Right. So healing is a corkscrew. What happens is we start to see the behavior quicker. We know how to take care of ourselves quicker. We move through it quicker. But the same stuff gonna keep coming up over and over again. And so, especially when we're talking about our long-term romantic relationships, there's no fix, right? You're going to be different versions of you across the lifespan, across the relationship span, and they're going to be different versions of them. But that core stuff is that core stuff. So the work becomes first doing your own internal stuff.
Okay.
Nobody is ever excused, whether you 5, 55, 85. You never excused for owning your own shit. Period. No matter what happened to you, no matter what the reason, the context, I can have all the compassion in the world. But you still are responsible for owning your own shit. Right. And we decide together that we will see the shit and confront it together.
Yeah.
It's not me against you. It's us against it.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just thinking when you were saying that too, I don't think it's so much that I think it's a resolve to it, but it is in a way, because if I can recognize, and I'll give an example. So the need is to feel safe, right? Okay. Or protected. If I'll give an example from my wedding. So when I got married, before I got married, my husband is the only boy of like 3 sibling girls and a single mom. So he was like their core, their everything, the man of the family, basically. And so when I came into the picture, it was like, you trying to take, you get what I'm saying? And so then we got married. They acted the fool at my wedding, all these things. And he had a hard time separating from them, and I'm thinking, oh, it's evident. Like,
it was an obvious choice.
What we doing? Like, like, why is this a hard decision for you? So in that moment, I felt like I wasn't protected. So as I'm going to therapy, I'm realizing that yes, you are valid in wanting to feel protected, but just because you say, oh, don't go around your family, like how you were saying, that's not the way to get to being protected.
Correct.
So I think what I mean by resolve is we have to identify what we lack in order to help come to a healthy resolve, right? So it's not that I think that I'm going to be fixed once he just does this, but it will make sense to you better what I'm trying to relate to you if you also get the healing and you figure out that you can't be that protector to people that don't want to be protected or that are harmful to you. You get what I'm saying? So, but that's for him to unlock and be able to see that. But if you never see that or you never get that work done, I'm going to always you always going to be working from the back of your brain with me because you're always looking at like, you trying to take me away from my family.
Yes.
You're trying to separate, like you're not looking at it from a healthy place. Oh, my wife really feels unprotected. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it is a fixing.
But that's the accountability piece on his part.
But it's a fixing that got to come before you, because you don't see that as a thing right now, because
like an individual fixing. Like,
right, you're not going to therapy and realizing that the things that you're trying to do are maladaptive to your relationship because of whatever childhood trauma you might have experienced or whatever adulthood trauma you might experience. You're not going to recognize that as even a trauma.
Right.
I think that's why it's important to do therapy individually first.
Right.
First, and then do couples therapy, because you do have to, like you said, even know what you're going in there for. Like when we start having these issues, it's because of something we both feel, something we both fear in the back of our mind happening to us again, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's very important I just tried to, because I'm recently getting back into therapy too, and I kind of, I don't want to try to push my ways on my partner and make him try to grow at the same speed. Because like you said, once I committed to that relationship, I committed to how he was at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can only be accountable for my growth over the years. If he does grow with me, great job. Congratulations. You know what I mean? But if not, I have the choice to either accept him how he is or not.
Yes.
That's like the middle ground to it.
And I think what I was hearing too was that I think what a lot of people do is 3 things. So you can either do 3 things, but I think a lot of people do like the second one. So the first one is to leave. If you feel like, oh, this person is not for me, right? Or the love isn't there.
Yeah.
And then the second one is to try to change that person, which is the second one that I feel like a lot of people try to do, even me. I'm like, no, you need to do just do. And then the third one is to become the best version of yourself, and then think about whether you're going to stay or leave later.
Right.
Because if you don't, then you leave one. You can leave. The first one you can do is leave. That's your decision to do. But will you run into that same person in a different font?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The answer is yes.
Yes. Exactly. So, and then can you change anybody? No.
Okay. So let me tell you how I think about your 2 and 3 a little bit different.
Okay.
So, and again, this is always in the context of a safe, physically, emotionally safe relationship, right? I'm not talking about where you're being exploited or actively harmed, abused, right? And some people
our listeners know we ain't talking about that.
Exactly.
Right. If he going upside your head,
right.
Audience over here.
But also there's a lot of emotional abuse that happens and people don't know.
Financial abuse.
Yes. And people don't know because they've not experienced love in a way that has not felt transactional or conditional growing up, right? And that I find that happens a lot more normally than actual physical abuse, right? That still exists for sure.
Right.
But a lot of emotional abuse and manipulation happens, right? But to what do you do? So you cannot change anybody.
Right.
However, as you focus on yourself and be the best version of yourself, a person that is truly committed to you and connected to you will eventually change. Because if you start moving and they are connected to you, they got to start moving too, right? I think where we go wrong is thinking, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to be better.
Damn. I'm talking about I just woke up this morning doing that.
Do this.
Like, you need to get off that phone. You're scrolling too early. But really, I'm telling myself this. Don't pick up that damn phone to you because you know you want to scroll too.
You want to mama him.
Yes, a little bit.
Correct. The best thing you could do is take care of yourself, right? And that allows you to then be there differently for them. But they will also decide like, I can't keep showing up like this because I see her moving this way.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll either be 2 things. It's getting too much, she's doing too much, or I need to do with her.
Yes.
And I need to do too.
Yes.
Yeah. But I like that we ended this one right there about what you can do, because
wait, real quick. The third one, you said that was the second one, but what about the third one?
You said stay or leave.
You said get to your the third one would be become your best self, and then decide.
Correct. And here's the thing about really healthy, loving, long-term, sustainable relationships. You're making that choice all the time.
Yeah.
It's not because we've been together, we must be together. It's I continue to choose this person
Every day.
this work every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And sometimes that also might run out.
yeah.
Like we also tell ourselves, well, we got the kids, or we've been together for this number of years. Like we say all the things, right, to sort of keep us complacent.
Because my daughter gonna be, I be like, I never say that, and my husband says, no, she probably will, but I never say that because I always want, my goal for my daughter is, because I only have a daughter right now, my goal is for her to be the woman that I desire to be, right? So if I'm not being the woman that I desire to be, she will see who I am and not who I desire to be. Right, so with me staying with somebody that I'm obviously not happy with, you'll never see who I desire to be. Yeah. So I'm always like, I don't care about doing it for the kids. Like, yes, but you do have to consider the kids, because another thing that he told me, and I don't want to go back to this, but he was like, I told him how my daughter had once the past weekend told me how, oh, Mama, I love you so much. And I was like, oh, okay, I love you too. And she was like, no, I don't think you really understand how I love you. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, and I was like, but I told him in another conversation that she loved her daddy probably a lot more than she loved me. And he was like, just saying because she's like a daddy's girl, like she loves him. And so he was like, well, think about it. If she told you that she loves you and she told you that you didn't even understand, you are like her world. And then you just told me that she probably loves him even more. He is also her world. So if those two worlds split, who do you think she's going to blame?
Herself.
Yeah. And so you do have to consider your kids and other things, but to what extent?
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
So can you answer to the audience, is love enough?
I think if it's love, then it is always everything.
I like that.
If it's not, it's not love.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah. And that's a good thing to end on, because we got to get into the bedroom for the next episode.
Okay. Because love is sex, and sex is love. And okay.
Yeah.
It's all enough.
Oh, okay. So is it not enough then?
We're going to get into it.
Okay.
We're going to get into it.
Okay.
See y'all next week.